who select create company backup or restore. Okay. Uh, First, we should try and see how backup is being done and what are the criteria for that. So, if you see again, this Windows screen is also visible. Amit, right? Please, you can, or only Tally screen is visible.
Only Tally is visible right now. Still have to share the entire screen, Puneet bhai.
Yeah. Now is it fine?
Yes, Puneet bhai.
So, if you see that a Tally data would offer 5-digit data. Okay, here is the path where whatever this Tally data is being stored. Okay, so there are two ways in which you can copy the data. One is of course Control C and Control V. That is one thing, and the second thing is you can restore it from Tally itself, or there is a TBK file which gets generated. So you go to Tally, and then you go to your either the first if you take the backup. Here you can just write the path, the destination, and then select the company which you wish to take the backup. And the same process we follow for the restore of the company. Although very small, but many users forget this particular step of how to take the backup and so we'll start with this. For this, what happens is that when we start Tally, this is the Tally screen that we want to start. Okay, here what we can do is that go in properties and click here shortcut keys. Now it is none. Here you can just say Control Alt T or Control Alt I or Control Alt M, whatever you wish to say. It is since it is Tally, I have just provided, and it is a useful shortcut key for any application, not just Tally. But just to give a brief, that once you do this, apply. Okay, and then you need not wherever your screen is. Suppose your screen is in this particular Word document. Here also, if you on Control Alt T, Tally would get start. So this is the first shortcut that I am discussing. Now let's move forward in terms of understanding what the current data is. So if you look at the various versions, the earlier version had this 4-digit, that is for 7.2 we had this 4-digit number. So if you have data of 6.3 or 7.2, you will have to migrate that to 9 in case you want to audit of that particular data. Or the other important that there are migration tools which is available on Tally website that you can download and then run that migration tool. It is pretty simple. There are help files also available, video files also available. How to use that in case you have an older version of data. Any data which was beyond 7.2 will have at least 5 digits of this number. I'll tell you brief about this is that these are the various files, and if you see that the data is in this link manager, and trans manager. The entire transaction files are in this file, and mainly the link manager, that is the bill wise details, the tracking numbers. We will see as and when we go along. But just to give you a brief, that these are the 6 or 7 files that is generated, and there are sometimes TSF, that is a small temporary files also getting generated when we are working in a network environment. Those are temporary files, but can be deleted only under the supervision. But just to understand that these are your data files. You can copy the data via pen drive, or you can zip it and send it on the mail. That is possible, and you can put it in any of the path, Windows path, wherever you have given the sharing. In case you are using it in network, so you will have to give the folder sharing rights in case you want to use it in the network. Okay, so that is the first aspect of the entire Tally data, restoring it and using it in different versions. The other important part is to understand that what release are we working in. The release is this. In the current version, the release is this 6.62. Okay, this is your Tally serial number, your TSS expiry date, and having a client with ODBC. That is fine. We will maybe tomorrow, if there is a time, we will look at the ODBC functionality as well of how we can extract the masters and the balance information to get financial statements. So here, always look at the version which we are operating in. That is, having said that, as we started Tally, okay, by clicking on Control Alt T, or rather by pressing Control Alt T, we can also ensure that the data which we want to load should be of which data we always want to load. So I have clicked on F12, I pressed F12, and then here we find that there is a data configuration setup. There are other setup also, but currently from audit perspective, what we should understand that this is the by default data path. Okay, here you can also give companies load on startup, yes or no, or which company you have to preload. So many times users should understand that where your data files are. So here always you need not change the data path again and again. You can just go here and put the data path every time you want to access the same path. Or if the paths are different, then you can definitely normally when we start Tally, you can click on F1 backspace and then click on the particular or then type the path. So this is how you can access your data as of now. So the current Tally version that we are going to use is this Poonam release 6.6.2, and Poonam India is a demo company. We will load that demo company, giving the user ID and password. Okay, and now this is how we have started with the Tally. Before we move forward, I would like to take the next step that the data is here, but how do we move forward? So, Ankit bhai, what are the criteria of moving forward? Now, shall we just go in trial and start the audit, or what is it that you normally do in your own practice? That how do you approach the planning part or the documentation part? Because that is very important when we are talking from a student's perspective or from the employee's perspective. That what are the other aspects of an audit, which once we start moving to Tally, we will have to take care. But before we take care, what are the pre-sides of planning? Ankit,
Absolutely, I will take that first. Puneet bhai, thank you. If you can just stop sharing the screen, I'll just start sharing my screen. So before we begin an audit, the first step to begin an audit is always the audit planning and the documentation that we need to do. What are the steps that we need to undertake? So auditors are required. So why do we need to plan is one of the basic questions that we need to answer to before we understand how to plan. The reason why we need to plan is because there are a lot of audit risks that are there for auditing, and we need to ensure that all those risks are mitigated, are defeated while we are making the plan. So there are three primary risks that I would like to introduce to the audience. One is the inherent risk, one is the control risk, and one is the detection risk. If you read through the inherent and the control risk, only the first part, you would realize that there is a thin line of difference between the two. I would just like to mention the basic difference between inherent risk and a control risk is, in case of an inherent risk, we are talking about the pure business risk, where the internal controls are not present. While when we are talking control risk, we are talking about risks which are where there is a lot of inadequate internal controls are present. For example, if you have to put in what is an inherent risk. Inherent risk is a risk, for example, if you're talking about consolidation. So during the phase of consolidation, there are a lot of data that is required to be coming in from subsidiaries, and the data that we collate are required to be combined and added to the data of the parent company. Now, if there are no proper checks and balances, no proper systems present in terms of how the combining of the data has to happen, that may lead to a material missed statement, which accounts for an inherent risk as far as audit risk is concerned. So again, another inherent risk we can talk about is transactions which are related to the related party transactions. These are again byproducts of inherent risk. When we talk about control risk is primarily those risks where as I mentioned, the internal controls are inadequate. For example, no proper segregation of duties, non-verification of transactions, which we discussed again initially, where the vouchers are not signed, approvals are made without proper authorization. There is no proper mechanism of authorization. For example, if there are two different managers, one of the managers allows air travel as a part of reimbursement, while one manager does not allow. So it leads to imbalance between how the system is placed at an organization. Again, the supplier selection process is another important area, which if not properly maintained, can lead to higher purchase pricing risks. Calling for quotations from different vendors before actually procuring the material is again another part of control risk that is there. Last but not the least is the detection risk. Detection risk is related to directly the auditors fail to detect the material misstatements in the financial statements, which may lead to incorrect opinion on the financial statements. This can be correlated to the skill sets of the auditors. This can be correlated to the types of audit procedures that we decide to follow, whether they are substantive enough. The sampling techniques again is one aspect which will determine whether all the kinds of transactions are covered or not. Length of an audit engagement. Generally, whenever you are auditing for banks, the bank branch audit, one of the big constraints that we face is the time allocated. Very short time is allocated to us to ensure we have a complete control over the audit engagement. So the length of audit engagement is also one of the criteria which may lead to detection risk. So these are some of the risks that we carry in audit, and hence we need to ensure that we plan properly. What are the certain pre-audit activities that we need to do? The first and the foremost is, before going to an audit, we need to ensure that the proper understanding is there of the client business, the source of funds, what are the major activities that it conducts. We should study the previous year's balance sheet. It will give us a fair idea in terms of what are the volume of transactions are there. Identify the key areas of audit that we need to ensure are covered while we are making a plan for the audit. Team understanding is very important. Clear defining the roles of who is going to cover what. And last, on a lighter note, we should know the address where we are going to go for audit. So these are some of the pre-audit activities. Again, these are few pointers that I'm presenting over here, not exhaustive. It varies again from client to client. What are the documentation that is required? One, we need to define whose details of the audit team. There should be proper time that we present. The audit period that we are covering should be properly mentioned. The extent of audit procedures we are following, the evidence that are obtained, the procedures that are used to testing those. What are the sampling techniques that we are deciding on? How are the techniques being determined? How are we choosing which sampling techniques? These are some of the part of an audit working paper, which is also how it is called. And again, findings of the significant matter to the financial statements, their ethics as well as their process that we've done. So these are some of the important aspects of audit plan and documentation that is required. How this can be done in Tally is something I would request Puneet to take over.
Yes, Ankit bhai. So, thank you for making the understanding of what are the important aspects for documentation. Now, moving towards what is possible within the functionality of Tally. Let's understand. But there are two questions related to our previous discussion. One was, can we open Tally 7 data in Tally ERP 9? As I said earlier, it would be possible only after the migration of data. Okay, migration tool needs to be run, which is available on Tally's website, and then we can open it in Tally ERP 9. That was one. The second was, can I open somebody else's data? I have a license now which is having the serial number of this, that is 701 000 and whatever, and the other Ankit is having some other Tally serial number. Can I open his data? The answer is yes, if you have the username and password. So it is very important that we should secure our username and password. Now there are possibilities that the data might get copied as it is possible on pendrive and get it open. You can restrict it by not allowing to get open in an educational mode. That I will take it up when we are discussing the overall structure of Tally at a bit later. But that is possible. You can just restrict that my data should not open in an educational mode. But you cannot restrict that only this license number my data should get open. Okay, so that was the thing. Now coming to our Tally screen, how do we activate the audit and compliance menu, because we need to activate the planning. Before that, what we need to do is to go in this Alt F3.
Maybe there are certain raise of hands. Do we want to take those questions, or should we keep it at the end of the session?
We can take it up if the raise of hands are on the related topic. I think we should take it up because that would show that help them to connect with the screens that we are operating. And if it is something which we are already scheduled for later, we may take it a little bit.
Let us ask them to speak the queries. If they are related to whatever we discussed now, we'll take it up.
Okay, right.
Rohit?
Yeah.
Rohit Shinde, you can unmute yourself and ask the query. Rohit, are you there? Poonam, if you can unmute yourself and speak, ask the query. I think they've.
Ankit,
Let us start. We'll
put the queries on the chat box Q&A.
Yeah.
And from there, if they are relevant to the screens that we are discussing, you may ask for them, or when you are explaining, I will ask for them. So to activate the audit and compliance menu, what is required is this: we go in the company menu and ensure that use security control is enabled as yes. Okay. So once we activate this particular security functionality, we need to give administrator's name and the password. Currently, just because we are going to use repeatedly, this particular company has given a very simple username and password. And then we can also use this Tally audit features. This will keep track of the editing of vouchers. On this, we can come again later how to use this Tally audit features, what are the important aspects of it. So this we can come on again later. But the other aspect that I was talking about, the data movement, it can disallow opening in educational mode. If you set this as yes, then the other person, even if you take the data and try to activate it in or try to open it in an educational mode, they may not be able to open it. Okay. So once I have activated my security control, I can go in this menu called audit and compliance. There are quite beautiful things which are available in this. As you rightly said, that documentation form and one of the most important aspect of an audit. And in absence of this, the auditor may face a lot of risk, and when in the days and time where government authorities are, or rather, it is for our own good purpose that we should have a proper documentation, even if the government authorities are not saying. But when in a time that documentation is an important aspect, how do we ensure that we go ahead? So we can go to the audit documentation, and there we find that there are 4 or 5 different aspects. Okay, that audit program, auditor's report, annexure, accounting standards, all of them are there. But what I really love about it is this audit program. Once we go in this audit program, we can find that we need to put the client auditor's details. Okay, just to type the basic aspect of uh, uh, the audit. Okay, so here you can create your users and all those things. Set alter client auditor details. I will explain about the area of audit and everything. So we can say client auditor's details. Here you can just put the audit team name, okay, firm name, that is your company name, and audit team name. So on and so forth. Here the company name, address, phone number, and other status. The company type, whether it is limited company or whether it is a private limited company, you can select. Okay, here it is an LLP, with their partnership firm, or you can say not applicable. Industry type, for what it is related. Number of branch details, and address, if any, if we wish to put it. Now, here comes our planning part, or the documentation part as to what we are going to audit. Now, there are few pointers, list of audit areas which Tally has given, but they are not exhaustive. Okay, here you can select that, okay, I have to do bank book vouching, how many days I am going to spend on that, or for some areas you can select the hours. So bank book vouching should take 5 days. Okay, and when you have completed, you can come here and say actual. Okay, what is actual? So here again, extent of verification. So you can put sampling by months. Verified by, in case after the completion, you can come here and see who has just updated, who has verified it. Verification remarks reviewed by the senior person's name and the review remarks. Okay. Similarly, so on and so forth. You can select another transaction, loans and guarantees. Right. The beauty of Tally is that in case you have created a plan for one company, you can copy the program in another company. If you go and see that there is a button called Control O at the bottom. Once you prepare the plan for 15 or 20 line items or 100 line items, whatever you wish to say, you wish to do, then you can provide it and then copy the same plan from one company to another company, or from 1 year to another year, second year. So if you have completed the audit plan or the auditing last year, you can copy the same plan in the next year. So here there is an option, and once we click on this option, ask for which company you want to copy, or from previous financial year you want to copy. Currently, we have not loaded any company. It is asking for a company copy from this Poonam India only. But if there is a company which we have loaded in, at the initial level, at the gateway of Tally level, at that point of time, we will be able to, from here, we can then copy to another company as well. Okay. So moving forward, now is set, the other part of the idea is the working paper. That we will come on that. For that, we have to activate in F11 enable audit working papers. This is an option because the moment you start doing an audit within the system without using your paper and pen, that time you will have to put the notes. That time you will have to ask the question to your auditee. So how would you do that? That we will learn today as we move along. But here in F11, I have clicked on F11. Here you have to activate audit working papers as well. And do we want to also give some priority to the remarks that we have done? So then you can also give yes as this enable audit priorities and categories. Okay, so with this we can complete. Now here if you see, the audit working papers have been activated because of F11 masters, vouchers, companies and other reports. As of now, I am not going to discuss that. Later on, once we move along, at that point we can discuss further on this. Audit documentation. Yes. Ankit bhai, would you like to add something on this?
One can also look at while not enabling this tool. So I would just want to briefly, for about 5-7 minutes cover those things before we actually start using the audit compliance tool.
Yes. Okay. So I'll stop sharing.
I will take it up. You can see my screen?
Yeah.
So yeah, tools without the audit tool. I mean, though most of us are already using most of these tools, I would just like to, again, highlight certain things that we can do in Tally without actually going through the audit tool. The basic function that we all, I believe, always use is the ledger scrutiny function. What we do typically is we have the shortcuts DAL, and though I believe I don't remember the names actually what it stands for, but I clearly remember the keys that we need to use for that. So once we do DAL, basically what happens is, the screen appears where all the ledgers are all the names of the ledgers are in front of you in terms of a list, arranged in a ascending order, alphabetical order, I would say. So that is one which we can always use. Another aspect that we use Tally for is TDS compliance management. I'm again not talking about the TDS feature that is present in Tally, but typically what I ask my staff or employees is we go through the complete profit and loss account. We try to differentiate between the expense ledgers where we feel the TDS would be applicable. And once we select those typical ledgers where the TDS is applicable, say for example, repairs and maintenance is one ledger, which attracts either 194J or 194C typically. Obviously, debtors confirmation and creditors confirmation, I believe Puneet bhai will be showing us how, Tally can be used in directly generating multiple ledgers and sending it across as a third-party verification. Apart from taking third-party verification in debtors and creditors, we also typically do is check the ledgers individually and select the option bill-wise. What it does is that it helps us to understand whether all the invoices that are raised during the period or all the invoices that are purchased during the period, depending on whether it's a debtor or a creditor, are paid in a certain manner or not. Logically, an invoice in May would be paid first, then an invoice in December. So if we see certain invoices of November or December paid, but an invoice of May pending, it raises a small flag as to we would like to check, whether there is an error, whether the entries are missing, or whether there has been some dispute, whether there is a return where a credit or a debit note entry is pending. So these are typical things what we realize when we start looking at bill-wise details. Another thing that we can realize is a lot of times when the accounts executives are passing entries, if there is an invoice of say 50,100 rupees and we've received 50,000 rupees, I'm sure that 100 rupees is not going to be received. So typically we try to park it in a rebate and discount ledger, which most of the time you've seen the accountants tend to ignore. Which these are the kind of queries which we once raised can be sorted out very easily. BRS, that is the bank reconciliation feature, is a very prominent feature we all use. Another important feature is a financial ratio analysis. I am not sure how many of us actually view the financial ratios feature that is available on Tally by default. Always what we look at is whenever we are looking at the current year's data, we always try to compare it with the previous year. When we are comparing it with the previous year, we try to check whether the gross profit ratios are in place, whether the net profit ratios are in place, what are the ratios of individual expenses vis-a-vis sales that has been conducted. These are some of the ratios which throws a lot of light in terms of whether the business has been conducted in a similar environment, whether certain flags are there, whether, if we look at more repairs and maintenance than typically what the company is going through, we come to know whether there are certain expenses which are supposed to be capitalized but are passed in repairs and maintenance. Then these are some of the important aspects, advantages that we can derive if we use the financial ratio analysis. Again, these are some of the tools that just came across my mind when I was trying to list it down. There are many things that we can do even without using the Tally audit tool. But yes, we can do a lot of things with Tally. Just a small point before I hand it over again to Puneet bhai is that any software the more we use, the more hands-on we become on it. So it is very important we start using software, start using the options that are available on the screen whenever we are using Tally. And then and only then we'll become hands-on, and probably we'll realize there are so many features, so many tools that are available within Tally without going through the audit option, I'm saying, which can raise a lot of flags, a lot of important aspects of the accounts that we are auditing. I'm sure, Puneet bhai, you will have a lot of live things also which you can share, which we can do without using the Tally audit feature.
Yes, we have listed out a few of the things that before we start the audit, what we should be doing. If you rightly said that without using the tool, what are the working areas that we can think of? Okay, so the previous slide. Okay, friends, I will take up these 4 things before we actually take up this planning part. Whenever you come across a Tally data, what are the holistic view of the functioning that you have seen? We have seen the basic structure, that how the data folder looks like. Okay, now we will look at what is it once you start entering, or once you have entered into the data, what are the total control features do we have, or what are the functionalities that they have done. So first and foremost, I always suggest that the auditor should first go and check display list of accounts. DL. Ankit rightly said DAL is display account books ledger. Now I have clicked on this DL, display list of accounts. What is this? This is your chart of accounts, how you have created, what is the structure of the current data that you are auditing. Okay, so here you can go and check that how many ledgers are there under loans and advances, how many ledgers are there under sundry debtors. If I shift enter, if I just click on shift enter, this will get you can see it in detailed mode, or you can see it in summarized mode. I am again clicking on shift enter or shift enter. So you see that if you just want to see sundry debtors, then this is what it is. You can go and see. So this is how you have created the structure of the ledgers. On the right hand side, options which are there. That is groups, cost category, cost center, ledgers. So if you click on any of these, suppose we click on the stock items. Here it will show what is the stock item chart that they have prepared. This is your chart of inventory. The total functioning available in this country, what type of inventory these guys have created. Okay, same way you can go to cost centers, stock groups, or budgets if they have created the budgets. Right now there are no budgets. For that we can have a separate session. But if you see at the cost center level, branch office, head office, they have created some names and those are there. What is cost center, cost category? We will come on that at a bit later maybe. But these are all the MIS part which is there. For us auditing, what is important is the stock items. How many stock items are there? And the ledger view. Okay, this is the ledger view. Can we export this in Excel? Yes, we can export it as we normally do this particular aspect by seeing this Excel spreadsheet and then creating the putting the export location where you want to export it and then seeing this, giving the file. What do we want to export? Do we want to export the employee names? Do we want to export the ledger names, or what do we want to export? We can select out here and then click on export. Okay, at this point of time I will just export it in Excel. Fine. So this is how you get the list of accounts in Excel. In case you want to, whenever you are starting the audit, what was the structure that you have seen, that you can note it down. Here the important aspect, of course, during the audit, using the audit tool also you have got this functionality, but here you can also see a button called show unused. So in this company, Poonam India LLP, these 5 ledgers have not been used. Many times the ledger gets carried forward because previous year में किसी ने खोला था, because of some reason इसने चालू किया था and he is not available or they don't understand what the reason was, or and they keep on creating the new ledgers. So here you will find the list of unused ledgers. You can click on spacebar and delete them also. Okay, but as of now we are not restructuring of the data, but just to understand that if we can just see that there is a list of unused ledgers as well. So this was the first thing. The second thing important from, I'll come back to Gateway of Tally, is the understanding of S, that is statements of accounts and statistics. I showed you the entire list. This is the summary, that how many groups are there, how many ledgers are there. So whenever you are starting the audit, please take the screenshot or export this in Excel while you have worked it. So here you will be able to control that how many ledgers were there when we started the audit. Okay, so this is how it is. You can also see the number of vouchers which are there. Okay, in each transactions, in each voucher, how many transactions are there. So while we will come to this screen again, once we move along a little bit more, this is a very important screen that you should understand, that it gives a holistic view. How many transactions are there? 1,123. How many employees are there? 22. Ledgers 268. So on and so forth. So while you understand the efficacy of data, or whether the data is complete or not, from one company to another company when we are doing an export, import, or whatever it is, from audit perspective also, we should keep a note of this screen, that each type of transaction, how many transactions are there. We will come back to this sales order, journal, receipt. Normally, we go to display account books, ledger, as Ankit rightly said, we select a particular ledger, or we go to cash book, bank book. Here, the day book functionality is that it is having all the ledgers, all the transactional information. The idea behind showing you is this, that you can use the FQL, that is the range, to filter any information, whatever you may wish to extract from that. So voucher having ledger amount as greater than 10. Within a second, you find that all the vouchers this particular day is there. So idea is that you can use this filtration tool very effectively while you are searching for any ledgers. You can create Alt F for one day you have searched. In the same way, 14231.3 you can search in the entire transaction. Here you will see that they have created certain optional vouchers also. What is an optional voucher? It is a non-accounting voucher which has been posted for maybe some scenario or just for temporary purpose, but they have not impacted the books of accounts. So this also, whatever transactions are there, so this you will not be able to see when you are viewing your normal display account book ledger view report. You will view only from this display day book or from an exceptional report, which I will show later. There you will find the list of all the optional vouchers. These vouchers are posted in the books. I mean, they are passed in the books, but not posted to the books of accounts. That debit and credit impact has not been taken. So optional vouchers are those which are for which the impact is not already seen in the ledger accounts or in your trial bills, wherever you have not seen the impact. Okay, how to convert optional to regular? There is a button available in this, but for we will take up that at some other time. But this is a display demo functionality. Okay, so this was the third thing after the list of account statistics and demo. Okay, now the other important part which you should know is using this control F12 and alt F12. What is it? I already mentioned about the alt F12 that whenever you are looking at daybook or whenever you want to filter certain information, that you can get it. The other part that you should also know is where the F12, which is there in the stock summary screen. Why is it important? I will be taking up the audit tool a little bit later, but here what I'm saying is that the control F12 functionality is for finding out the purchase voucher details or the sale detail. At some point of time, you will be asked in tax audit that what is the quantitative information of the total sales transaction or the purchase transaction. So how do you find that? Because F12, if you do this inward and outward as yes and closing balance, now this is total inward and outward. This would include your stock journal, your manufacturing journal, all the information. You want only total of vouchers which has been impacted through sales voucher. How do you find that? By using this control F12 functionality. Using voucher type, name, containing or equal to sales. Here is it. So here you will find that this is the total quantitative information that you can provide it for your tax audit purposes. The outward details for your entire quantitative information, what has been sold during the year. Alt F1 we can get item wise as well. So that this is what it is. So using control F12 we get the filtration part of a particular voucher type. There are many other options. I have just given you a brief option as well. Okay, escape and coming back to gateway of tally. Ankit bhai, anything you would like to add?
I think fair enough, Punit bhai.
Okay. So using Alt F12 and Control F12 is this particular functionality. What is one more thing which is important when we understand the structure of Tally is display statements of account statistics. I told you that it will come here once again. Suppose this is a purchase order. Okay, this is a list of purchase transactions in the month of March. In F12, there is a button called extract. Yes, and if you want to see inventory wise extract, I will first give you normal extract. This is a normal extract. Okay, in this month, what was the total vouchers which has been debited? What are the total ledgers which has been debited or credited? Same way, I'll click on once again F12 and then come to inventory wise extract. So what item we have sold, purchased, and by clicking on Alt F2 by changing the period, we get it for the entire year. So this was extract. Apart from that, there is one important aspect also out here is to use this button called columnar. Most of us must be using it, but if you see that we can get party GST and details, PAN number, registration number, receipt and dispatch details, item value, additional cost. Here, what is this? Type of column. All items automatic column. That means whichever ledgers have been debited or credited, all will show to you in respective columns. And the option, the second and third and fourth options are very rarely used. What is this? If you want to see items of a specific ledgers only, or suppose only purchase ledgers only, you don't want to see those which are there, although the purchase register might have used, but they have been used for expense also. You don't want to see that. So here you can select that only ledger belonging to purchase or group belonging to purchase accounts only. I want those ledgers only, and all other in one column. All other related column automatic or related column in related items in one column. This also you can see. But the best part is almost all of us should know that we should use this all items automatic columns. That is each individual line by line details we get. Payments.
Sir, you have been muted, I think, so you'll just have to unmute yourself. And we lost you for the last couple of minutes. So start.
I'll repeat. Yeah. Okay. So this is the purchase register. The same thing we wanted for sales. Then how do we get it? Is just by clicking on F4. All sales voucher. Now this is a shortcut key that you should know, not only for this columnar report, but in what Ankit Bhai just mentioned, display account books ledger. So if you are viewing for one report for one entire year, then you can just click on F4 and select the other ledger itself also. So F4, by clicking on F4, now you're looking at all the sales register. Similarly, if you click on F4, journal register, journal. So all journals, you can see what debit, credit, narration, and all those things are there. And what ledgers have been used in this particular narration. Sorry, in the journal. There is one more columnar report before going to the actual audit tool that you want to learn. This display of books, ledger. Suppose this is your bank report. Okay, for entire year. Here again you can click on Alt F8 and select all items, automatic columns. This is another option that you might have it. Useful when we are doing it in bank or cash summary. Here we get the summarized information, ledger wise, what was the details that were debited or credited. So that is useful. Also useful in the columns of PAN number details when we are looking at a particular loan accounts or group of loan accounts. So those also we can have it. General we can have it for this thing. So columnar report is available at the ledger level and at the voucher level. So these are the two options that you should know before we start using the Tally audit tool. Okay. So hope you have liked this particular feature of Alt F12, Control F12 statistics and daybook, and then view columnar report extracting or this thing. Okay. So now we come to our audit tool. Ankit, shall we move to the audit tool itself?
Yes. Let's move there.
Okay. So before we move to this audit tool, there was one question that in audit documentation, how do you create a new plan? How do you create a new areas of audit? So here we had created. Here you can click on new. So on and so forth. Okay. So you can create your own audit areas as well. I will accept. So are we ready for understanding this audit analysis? Can we have a small update till now? What is the features? Mukesh has said, can optional vouchers be used for preparing cash flow forecast? Yes, they can be. We can take it up maybe tomorrow for MIS purposes. Audit working papers in this I will be taking up Kamlesh, your question regarding maintaining audit papers while doing a ledger scrutiny, entry wise scrutiny. Yes, we are going to do this precisely from now. We are going to jump right on the audit tool, audit and analysis. So Ankit, when you start the audit, what's the first thing that you do? Of course, after planning and documentation is done, what is the first thing that you do?
Obviously, we'll verify the chart of accounts.
Okay, right. So verification of chart of accounts, for that we need a base. Okay, so how do we need the base? We have to look at the previous year company. Now, previous year company can have two functionality. Either it could be continued in the same data, what 10,014 or what that data that we have selected, or it could be a different company. They have split the data. I strongly recommend users to split the data every year, because the new user, there might be an accountant who might go and change after the audit is done, or change the masters and everything, and then the entire financial reports which have been generated goes for a toss. So it is highly recommended that we split the data. So here we are taking a scenario where the data split has happened, and this particular company is for the current year, and now we have to look at the previous year. So how do we do that? Here we select the company by clicking on button called Control F3 or this thing. In the same folder, if I have put it, then fine. Or else I can go and select a different folder as well. Fortunately, for the current one, I have kept it in the same folder. That is for the Poonam India previous year company. I will give username and password. Now, there are two companies which are loaded. Poonam India LLP current year and previous year company Poonam India previous year. So we will start using this audit tool. There are friends, before we start using this audit tool, please be let me introduce this entire dashboard to you. The first part, that is the first half on the top, is the first few parts of are related to verification of chart of accounts, stock item, and ledger balances. Then few analytical procedures